There's quite a few factors that go into choosing a baby name, and knowing the popularity is a really high one that people want to know, and America have just dropped the most popular baby names for 2025, and I don't think they travel well. See if you agree with me. You know what we mean when we say like American style houses, American style food, American style car, and they're quite big, they're quite bold, they're really confident, and that's really great about them. But I'm not too sure that the names that are really rising would ever hit the name lists over here, and I'm just really curious if you agree with me, or if you think we're always sort of 5 years behind and that these names will one day be all over the playgrounds in Britain. So the top names are really traditional. What is it with Olivia? Honestly, the #1 name almost globally now. It is so beautiful, so gorgeous, but I just worry about that globally popular first name is going to end up being like the Louise, the Sarah, the Sharon of its time, and at some point we're going to just see it totally go, which will be really interesting to track. And then Liam, #1 boy name, a real classic, travels really well. I hear Liam on lists from all around the world. Again, it's very, very similar with those L sounds, the IA sounds that we love at the end of girl names. Those name sounds are just soft and pretty, and they flow really well into lots of other names, so I can see why they're up there. Let's try and get a shift. So I thought, okay, let's look at the ones that are trending, the ones that have gone up the most, and then I'm going to share with you my favourite ones from the rising names. And I've really challenged myself to find names that I've not thought of before, that I genuinely would have listed on my own personal baby name list, that I hope gives you some inspiration as well. But the #1 fastest rising boy name in America was the name Truce. What are we thinking? So I am a huge fan of like these virtue names, and they were a Puritan thing, an old Christian belief that names were prophetic and would help put energy into the world, give us a statement of what we like to see in the world. And Nameberry, which is the huge website over in the US, and I love them, they have remarked that this is a safe haven name, and that in a world that's full of chaos, disruption, very unstable at the moment, that calling your baby Truce has become a real statement of what we want to see in the world, which I can get on board with. But I think there's a couple of maybe more obvious reasons why Truce is up there. #1 is I actually just think that the name True is really lovely, it's a lovely virtue, and Truce sounds like a really good, more masculine option of true if you don't want to go with true, and I think it's really, really lovely. Also, I just wonder if they've just disagreed. There's been a lot of disagreements about baby names. This is the #1 issue I have at the consultancy. Couples who just can't agree, and someone's gone, let's just call it a Truce, and it's stuck. And they're like, sounds good. Pop it on the name. So whatever you think, I just wonder, really curious, do you love it? I'm really, really on the fence with it. I was surprised by it at first. I was like, no. But as I've let it digest and thinking about how much I love the name True, thinking of how much I do love a virtue word, whimsical, is Truce working? For girls, it's just as much of a shock. The fastest rising name went from basically unranked and is now inside the top 100, and it has 2 or 3 different spellings, all rising super fast, and it's the name Elani. A gorgeous, gorgeous name. There is literally nothing in the zeitgeist, nothing in popular culture. There's not a celebrity named Elani. There's not a movie character or a book character or a pop star or anyone famous who's named their baby Elani that can say where this has come from. I think, again, looking back to basics, it's basically if Olivia, Emma and Amelia had a baby, it would be Elani. It's just got all the sounds that we like. What's quite interesting is a lot of people are saying this is a Hawaiian name, and names like Leilani, Kailani have all really come up, which is really fascinating because I've heard, and let me know, that Hawaiian names are very, very spiritual, very cultural, and we could be at risk if we just start pinching names from that culture in particular and sharing them. I'm all for sharing of names, love it, but I'd love to know. And then also I've read a few forums where Hawaiian natives have said this isn't one of our names that we would actually traditionally use, and maybe that's why it's become more widespread. And it's got this mixture of being a soft name with a really empowered feminine meaning, which I think is why it would appeal to so many modern parents who look at sound plus meaning, and it means high priestess, the chief, the woman chief, the woman boss in the room, is what Elani translates to. So I do really like it. I worry that if it's on someone's name list, they're going to be put off despite being the fastest trending name in America. What do you think of Elani? And then let's look at all the other names that are moving and grooving up the list, because they're so good. So for boys, the second fastest rising name is the name Coulson. That's a very, to me, I would say, American name. It sounds sort of like surname as first name. It sounds a bit cowboy. It actually only comes from sort of meaning son of coal, which, or you could link it to Nicholas potentially. But it went up a massive 1,204 places in 1 year alone. And these rises are some of the biggest we've seen in like baby name data history, which, you know, everyone should study in school. It's one of those subjects that gets overlooked, just like how to learn your taxes or how to wire a plug. I think that baby name researching is a life skill that most of us are going to need to become parents. But Coulson, Briar as well went up 615 places. And the reason that these are quite American style is that they're quite new. Often they're quite made up. And that seems to really appeal to that sort of modern vibe of America, and that sort of getting there first, being different, being new, being fresh, because Briar only seems to mean the sort of thorny bush nature meaning, but obviously it's spelt differently, Briar, and again has that sort of cowboy edge, surname as first name feel. Halo went up 466 places, and it's also massively on the rise for girls. So again, a sort of virtue name. It's really interesting. It's, for me, I can't tell if it's a happy or sad name, which I know sounds strange, but we often associate angels or halos across a baby as sort of being a baby that maybe isn't earthside. Maybe that's just me. And I do worry about those really virtuous names that you're, you know, are you going to tell Halo off? How's Halo gonna do when he's in detention at secondary school? It's just an interesting one. It obviously also makes me think of the computer game. Not that I've played it, shock or horror. But what do you think of Halo? I do love it. I really do. I'm a fan of these types of names, but it gives me different associations, and I'm just giving my honest opinion in this, and I hope you do too. The name Isaiah, so there's lots of these rarer Hebrew names, and this is a trend that's been going on for years. So with our top names having a lot of biblical names like Noah, Joshua, you know, they've always been around back from when it was like Matthew and James and John. We're just finding more rarer ones, and recently we had Ezekiel, we had Ezra, we've had Boaz. So the name Isaiah really, really works within that trend, and I like it. I'm a fan of it. Noah is the next name that's rising, but without the H, which is interesting because it's a bit more gender neutral and a bit more of a short and sweet spelling, which really seems to fit the American vibe as well. The name just Isaiah. So a shortened version of Isaiah is also gone up 281 places. The next name was really interesting, and I really enjoyed researching it because I'd not heard of it. And it's got a couple of pronunciations, so let me know which one you would go with. And I've researched forums of people who've got this name. I've listened to pronunciation videos. People are like, that's how I pronounce it. But he gave two pronunciations on it. Which one is it? So a lot of it is Eliam. So with the sort of emphasis on the L sound at the beginning, or it's Eliam. So it's got the IE as a sort of Y sound as well, a lion. So it's really interesting, which I kind of feel like works better because I feel like I immediately will pronounce it like that if I saw it, a bit like Elias. A Hebrew name meaning God of the people. So again, it's got that very community feel, that sort of wanting to help, wanting to make change, which is really empowering. All these names are super empowering meanings, which is a lovely trend to see, which I do think will go global. And that sort of sense of change is a time for change. We want our children, the next generation, hopefully will have that sort of those leadership qualities for change. So a lion, overthinking it with the meaning. Otherwise, just a beautiful name that's really a jump on from the most popular name, which is Liam. So it's just adding a little twist if that name's got pinched or too popular, and I think it could work really, really well globally, that one. Coulter with a K, with a kicking K, that went up 257 places. Again, one of these more modern, could say invented names. When you look at it, it means sort of keeper of horses, because a colt is a baby horse, but spelt with the C, Coulter. Again, it's sort of very, very of the style. If you saw it, you would think that's a real American vibe name. And then Eliel, so Eliel, that went up 250 places. Massive jump actually, from 833 in the charts to 583. And you imagine if it does that jump again, how popular it's going to be, Eliel. And it's nice, it's quite a mouthful, but it's got those L sounds that we like from Olivia and Liam, just finding more quirky ways of using them lower down the charts. So those are the sort of fastest rising boy names. I'll do the girls, then I'll tell you my picks from all of the fastest rising ones. So we have Elani, as I said, and that is at number 1, and number 2 went up literally into basically the top 100, is at number 101. From nowhere, Elani. So really love it. Do you predict this would stay around, or could it be fast fashion? Because interestingly, Luna has gone out of the top 10, and I'm wondering if Luna's going to have that sort of zeitgeist moment that's now going, and maybe Elani is going to do the same. Or will it become a new classic like Olivia? Will it knock Olivia off and it's like every other child's called Elani? In a few years, it seems to be. It's hit 3 different spots in the top 10 fastest rising. So if you add them all together, it is dominating at the moment. Marjorie, I love it. I love seeing Marjorie. Went up 429 places. This feels very Taylor Swift inspired. And actually a lot of the American names, when I looked at them, it jumped out to me, a lot of pop culture. Every single one of the Kardashians' name is up there, including Rocky, which was obviously Kourtney and Travis's baby. Saint is up, Stormy is up, True is up, Kendall, Kylie, all of their names are up. Scotty is even up, which is maybe a stretch, a Kardashian name. Jenner, you know, the family, the TV show, and then also Marjorie being a huge Taylor Swift song. I think Swifties will really have had that on their consciousness and chosen it, and it's beautiful. And also I think for the UK, Margot has become our Alani over the last few years. It's just ramped up through the charts, and Marjorie has the same meaning of pearl and is a little leap on. It's always a little bit more difficult here because we have margarine, which is like Marge, is sort of like, it's a spread, isn't it? Batter spread. So it sort of has a little bit more difficult to use over here. So maybe it won't travel as well. Scotty, I just talked about, went at 414 places. This is in 1 year alone. It's now at number 202, Scotty, for girls. What do you reckon of it? I feel like it is really cool, really edgy. Again, it's got that sort of gender neutral vibe going on. It feels like Scout that was around a while ago, Scotty. I really like it. I watch too many Australian interior shows, if you know what I mean. Scotty just takes me to Aussie. Australia, they love to put an IE ending on most things over there, but I do love Scotty. Annalea. Again, this seems like a more modern, invented American style name. I could only find roots from like Anna Lucia, which was an old Latin name, sort of mixture of like Anna and Chia, meaning sort of grace and light, Annalea. So I like it. I don't love it for some reason. Maybe I just keep wanting to go like Annalise or something else, another sound to it, Annalea, with the A's repeated so often. Not too sure about it. Then we had a bunch that I hear all the time over here as well. So Elodie has gone up in America 368 places. Doing the same here, I think bringing that Olivia sound with the O. Elodie is just really gorgeous. Romy, the same. Romy is the one, if people ask me what name do you hear all the time, it is Romy and Remy. Everyone's list has Romy and Remy on it, so use it because it's still not overly popular in America. It's at 926, but just know that it is on a lot of people's list at the same time. Julietta has gone up, so I love Julietta and Marjorie. So there is these sort of vintage names, some more classics coming up lower down, and I like the longer ending of Julietta. Then Adara. This was new to me and I actually really like it. It went up 301 places and it's got this really gorgeous meaning. I was looking up, it means maidens, but it's a group of stars in the sky called the maidens, and one of them is the second brightest star in the sky, and it's called Adara. And I like it. It's quite exotic, it's quite unusual. You might be one that you're always name-splaining, so having to like explain the spelling, explain what the name is, because the H could confuse people a little bit. But with a name-splaining type of name, it's always just whether or not you think it's worth it. And I think Adara really could be, because it's very pretty. And if you have Aria on your list, it's got the similar sound. And then it's just Elani again. Then I looked through all of the most popularly rising names to see. And as I said, there's a huge amount that are pop culture. All the Kardashian Jenner names are up. Even the name Benson and Boone have both massively gone up through the charts. Benson went up 181 places and Boone went up 61 places as well. Beckham has gone up 31 places. So there's lots of sort of pop culture references that are making names stand out to modern parents. So I challenged myself to have a look through my favourite rises for girls and boys and not use just my regular style. Try and pick some new ones that I think match this sort of style of modern American names that are rising, but that I really like as well, that I would list. So the first up was the name Evren. Evren, I really love it. It's a name meaning universe. I think it's Turkish in origin, and I do recommend this sometimes to clients who love those sort of sounds and those sort of more popular names. Evren feels like it could really, really work if you love Ren, but you also love Oliver, you know, those sort of more pillar names that have kind of been around for a little while. Evren really, really works for me. What do you think of the name Dalton? So I was trying to find the surname as first names that I actually really like, and Dalton sticks out to me. I think it just sounds more complete as a name rather than the S-O-N ending, which I do love because I like Sunny, but Dalton seemed really, really cool. It seems almost kind of preppy to me, doesn't it? Maybe I'm thinking of like Royal Dalton, which is like a type of crockery here in England. So it's sort of a really antique little china cup that you get from Royal Dalton. So it sort of makes me think of that, and Dalton does actually mean a settlement in the valley. So it's a place name, a typographical name, sort of a name of somebody who has settled near the valley. And it's also got this kind of cowboy cool because a lot of people associate it with the Dalton brothers, who were these really famous outlaws, cowboys, bank robbers, you know, one of them, bad boys, sort of cowboy cool. I'm definitely going to do my cowboy line dancing Nashville names next because that is a massive trend that I'm all over. This name actually suits it for boys, and it's actually one of my favorites that's rising in America, and it's the name Truett. So with Truce being so high, I actually think I prefer Truett. So what do you think of it? I think it brings in the word true a little bit more because it's got sort of that's its own sound within the name. It went up 45 places. It's at 648 now in America, and it means dry wood or river bend. So I seem to pick nature ones, even though I really genuinely wasn't trying to, because I only looked at the meanings afterwards. But Truett, I could see myself having listed that if I was after this type of style of name. Dustin only went up 9 spots, but I really like it. It sort of ticks my love of sort of a quirky vintage gem that maybe hasn't come back up yet but doesn't sound too modern and too unique because it is such a throwback. Dustin, it actually is Old Norse, which I didn't know, and it means Thor's stone. I had no idea that it was Scandian. Maybe I could have got that past my partner on that reason, but I really like it. Dustin, it feels ready for its revival. It feels quirky, it feels cool, it feels vintage, it feels very, for me, East London over here. And then the name Ledger. So I went back and forth about this because immediately I thought, oh, I like that. It's an occupational name, so it says it was spear or tribe or a stonemason, whereas I always thought a ledger was somebody who like wrote things down. But apparently it's a stoneworker, a ledger. But I just think if I actually had a friend with a little boy called Ledger, I really think it's sweet because it's got that L sound. It sounds a bit like legend, your little ledge. And I just quite like it as a name. For girls, I really liked the name Nariah. I think that's beautiful, beautiful alternative to Olivia. It went up 161 spots, so it is one of the faster rising names, but not one of the very, very fastest. It is a Hebrew name meaning lamp of God. So Nariah really, really is a great one. Emery went up 41 places to 516 in a couple of spellings with the IE and also the ORY. Now this thing came on my radar, I think it was like 2 years ago, and I just fell in love with it. I went through such a crush on the name Emery. I don't know why, I've always did like Emerson, and I just think it's a beautiful sound, Emery. It's got that kind of cool girl, gender neutral edge to it. She sounds like a sort of folk singer, doesn't she, Emery? And I just really loved it. And it means home, strength, brave or powerful. So like we were saying about Elani, it kind of ticks that softer name, but it is more gender neutral than Elani, but with a really cool, strong, empowering meaning. And then Tatum. So Tatum only went up 21 spots to 205, but I was like, I actually really like Tatum. It's sort of, my style is normally quite whimsy, but Tatum feels quite whimsy. It feels quite folky, it feels quite bohemian, and it means a bright or cheerful disposition, which I really, really like. I actually really love it. It's sort of my top pick from all of these. And then the name Kaya, sorry, excuse my throat, I've got really bad throat. Kaya went up 6 places to 181, and it means pure. It's Cindy Crawford's daughter's name, and whenever I'm hanging out with them, whenever I see it, I've always sort of loved it. And I actually messaged her, and she had a daughter, Kaya, and I was like, it's really beautiful, it's really different. And I've been putting it on a few people's name lists when I've been consulting and somebody's wanting that type of quite unusual but sort of not overly used, and I think Kaya really works. What do you think of these American style names? Do you agree with me that there is a type, there's a feel to an American name? It's quite modern, it's quite fresh, it's quite grand, it's quite strong. Nothing wrong with it, but I think a lot of them just haven't yet come over here, and I can't see them on a lot of name lists over here. And I'm curious if we think that style is going to be winging its way across. Forgive my croaky throat. Thanks for watching. Next week I will do those cowboy cool Nashville line dancing 5 names. If you would love those, do hit subscribe to come back, and don't forget you can also pre-order my brand new baby name book. It is called Baby Name Envy. It is out just in a few weeks now, so if you are expecting a baby, you would absolutely love it. It is packed full of style quizzes. You can figure out your own personal style with interactive discussion guides and journal prompts, so you can really get down to what your style is. And then within it, there's over 1,000 beautiful names that I've curated for you, where you can really delve in and find a really special name just perfect for your little baby. If you pre-order it now, you'll also win a baby name consultation directly with me, and I'll be helping you throughout your pregnancy to find your perfect name, and you'll get it at the cheapest price when it's released. So all good reasons, and it ships anywhere in the world. So I will leave it linked below. Lots of love, guys. Thanks for being here. Bye, guys.